Have you checked out NotebookLM lately? I got to tell you, it's amazing on what it can do. You know, a few weeks ago, Cisco had our AI summit, and it was about 5.5 hours of content. And when you look at the YouTube site, you can see there's like 18 different videos. And so just imagine your manager comes to you and says, you know, did you attend the Cisco AI summit? And you say, yeah. And then he asks you, can you give me a briefing on everything that was talked about? And that's a tall order because there's so much content. Well, I'm going to show you how a tool like NotebookLM can help you to synthesize that information really quickly and create some amazing collateral that you can use to present that information internally. This is the NotebookLM landing page. I have it in dark mode because I think it looks cool. There are 3 panes here: sources, the chat, and where the magic happens is the studio. So in the sources, I've added the 19 YouTube videos as sources. You can add PDF documents, all types of other content as your source information. And then the chat piece, it's looking at all that content that you've uploaded as sources and giving you the ability to ask questions of those sources in natural language. And on the right-hand side is the studio. Here you see different modules that can present you with information in a lot of interesting and advanced ways. I'm going to focus on 4 different capabilities. One is the audio podcast that you can generate. Second is videos. Third is infographics. And the fourth one of the slide decks. They're all very impressive. So let's talk about the first function, which is generating an audio podcast, summarizing all of your content. So in this case, I did generate one. It's 21 minutes long. So it basically took 5 hours of content and reduced it to 21 minutes. So imagine being able to review that on your run or in your car and get the gist of what was talked about. So let me play that for you.
We think we are living in the artificial intelligence future right now, but what if the way you interact with an LLM today is essentially just the MS-DOS era of the...
So that's impressive, right? But I can show you something that's even more impressive. You see this button here called interactive? If I click on that, it opens up another window. So what I can do is not only listen to this podcast that was created, I can join in as if I'm a caller into a radio show and ask a specific question. So check this out.
We think we are living in the artificial intelligence future right now, but what if the way you interact with an LLM today is, oh, hey, our listener wants to join in. What's up?
Quick question. Curious about some of the dangers mentioned during the AI summit.
That is a phenomenal question.
And a really important one.
Okay, let's unpack this. We were just about to dive into the core of the discussion, which actually includes a big part of those dangers.
When you bring up the dangers, we have to talk about the political and security constraints.
Specifically, Jeeto Patel from Cisco laid out 3 major constraints that are holding the entire industry back from deploying AI fully.
Exactly. One of those is the trust deficit.
If people don't trust... yep, go on.
What about some of the advantages of AI mentioned in the summit?
That is a perfect point to interject with.
Yeah, we can't just talk about the risks.
Focusing only on the dangers can obscure the immense positive value.
When Dr. Farfelu...
So how powerful is that, the ability to interact with content? So with the audio overview, you have some areas that you can customize. If you click on the little pencil on top, you'll see I can customize the format. I can have it brief, have it critique my material, or debate one side versus the other in my material. So those hosts will engage in that type of conversation. I can choose from a bunch of different languages to produce this content, and I can choose the length. Now, what's also nice is that I can use natural language to tell the AI hosts what areas of the content they should focus in on. So if I don't want a broad scope of them talking about everything, say, for example, I just wanted them to talk about the dangers of AI or the real advantages or productivity gains of AI, I can have the host just talk on that topic. NotebookLM also has the ability to create a video overview for you. So let me show you what that looks like. I had created one before called The State of AI, and so let me play that for you.
Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, let's dive right in. Today, we're pulling together some incredible insights from the top minds at the Cisco AI Summit. Our goal? To build a solid, strategic way for you to understand exactly where we stand with artificial intelligence right now.
So let's kick things off with the core problem of this very moment, something Cisco's Jeetu Patel calls the paradox of progress.
So you get the idea. It creates a slide deck with illustrations, and it has someone narrating those illustrations. Now, what's nice about this is you have the ability also to customize what this video output looks like. And so here is the customized video overview. You can have it done as an explainer. So that was about 6 minutes long. You can also have it do a briefer video overview as well. Just like with audio, you can choose a different language. And then you have the ability to choose different styles. You can customize your own style. And you see you have some predefined choices here as well. If you customize your own style, then you can use natural language to define what that style looks like. And then just like with the audio overview, you can tell the host what to focus in on. So he's not covering all 5.5 hours. Maybe you want him to focus on a specific topic. Now let's look at some infographics. Similar to audio overview, you have the ability by clicking on the pencil to customize your infographics. So you can choose your language, different styles, the level of detail included in your infographic. And so let me show you some samples of ones that I created to show you the power of the tool to communicate a lot of information on a single page. So here's a fun infographic that's using Legos to communicate the ideas talked about in the AI Summit. Here's another infographic. If you choose to show a little bit more detail, you can see here it's still using Legos, but it has a lot more detail on this one pager. And here's another infographic with a different type of aspect ratio with a claymation type style to it. So here's a final infographic that shows you a completely different aesthetic. So you can see a lot of these are very engaging. We're going to wrap up by talking about the slide decks that NotebookLM can produce. Let's first look at the ways you can customize your slide decks. You can have a detailed deck, or you can have a briefer deck, otherwise known as presenter slides. You can choose your language as you could before. You can make it short or longer, and you can customize the topics that are included in your slide deck. So let's take a look at a few of them. Here's an example of a very detailed slide deck. As I scroll through this, you can see there's a lot of information contained here with beautiful graphics. And as a contrast to that previous deck, you can see here we have a totally different style. And this one was meant to be a short, brief deck where there's less detail included on each slide, giving you the opportunity to talk about that slide in your own words more. And so if I scroll through this, you can see that, wow, this is really a good looking deck that anyone out of the box would be very comfortable in presenting to. Impressed? So that's the latest update on NotebookLM. Remember, this is an application where you can bring multiple sources of information together, do research, synthesize that information, and have really interesting and engaging ways of outputting that information for consumption via audio podcast, videos, infographics, and awesome slide decks. So hopefully you found this useful. You know what I always say, stay curious, my friends.